Aloha everyone. Today I wanted to talk to you guys, do a review. I got 3,600 miles on the bike and it's about 15 months since I finished my build on it, and I thought I'd give you guys a rundown on what's happened with the bike and what I think of the bike. And just wanted to point out a couple things that we've had, some issues that have come up, and explain what's going on, because I think that it's probably pretty common with electric bikes if you don't, and dealing with electrics is a pain in the butt. So, trying to trace things down that are intermittent can just be a nightmare, and this is one that's probably more common than most people realize, and it'll leave you kind of stunned. But so anyway, to get on with it, the bike's got 3,600 miles. Here she is. I've gotten her out in the dirt and worked her real good. She's worked me real good. And as far as bikes go, I can't be happier with this performance, the way it handles the throttle. The instant response and control that I have in the dirt and even on the road. It's quick as all get out, and this was originally a Honda CRF 250L. It's a 2014 frame, and then I converted it last year, at the beginning of the year, to electric. And it's an amazing process, because I'm not really an electrical wizard, but I decided that since I was converting to electric, I needed to learn a lot more about electrical, and so building the bike gave me a real good chance to do that. So anyway, I bought my motor, which is a QS138. The battery, all the controllers. It came kind of as a kit. I got the battery. Anyway, it came as a kit, and most of the harnesses were put together. I bought everything through Electro and Company. They're out of Tahoe area, and I've been pretty happy with them. I just ordered a new 220 charger that will charge the bike in roughly 2 hours. So that's on the way right now. And anyway, as far as the bike goes, the only issues I've had with it were two, and both of them were kind of my fault. I had an intermittent shutdown on the engine, and I'd be driving along and I'd hit a high frequency vibrations, like potholes at a certain speed and stuff like that, and it didn't happen very often, and when it did, the engine just turned off, and so I'd have to coast over to the side of the road, and originally I thought I had to turn it off everything and restart it. And it turned out that wasn't even necessary. I just had to stop the engine, turn over completely, stop the bike, and then it would start up. I'd just give it throttle and away it'd go. It kind of drove me crazy, because it mostly happened on the road when I'd hit potholes that had a certain frequency vibration when I'd go across them, and the bike would just shut down. So about a week ago we were out riding, and it started happening really often. Like, the frequency before was like maybe once or twice on a ride it would shut down, but it's pretty rare. And then anyway, last weekend, Sunday I believe, we were going up Poly in the dirt, and it was shutting down every mile or two in the dirt too. And so I kept thinking about it, like I'd gone through it once before, gone through all the wiring, trying to figure out what was going on. It was kind of driving me crazy, but it always happened at a certain frequency when I went over certain potholes, and that would shut it off. And that got me to thinking there was something electrical and not loose wire, because a loose wire, if you go over something, it may shut off, but it's not likely to restart, or the wire's loose and it just gradually gets looser and looser. So I got to thinking about it. I was thinking, well, maybe it's in the controller, that when I hit something that vibrates the controller. I took the bike apart and I was looking, the controller is mounted steadfast to the frame, so it couldn't create that type of frequency. So then I got to thinking, maybe it's the, it's Ellie. Maybe it's the inverter. So I started looking at the inverter, and the inverter had a little bit of play in it. You could just see that it would vibrate. So I went ahead and secured it down. I actually just, the mounts were good, but it's mounted in two places on the end of it. So the box itself could kind of vibrate on it. So what I did is I put, on mine anyway, what I did is I took two large zip ties and I wrapped them up around the frame and cinched them up real tight, so it dampened that vibration, so that stopped it altogether. And when I took it out after that, it's run perfectly ever since, and I've been doing quite a bit of riding around, haven't had a problem. I deliberately rode over every bump I could find. I couldn't get anything to trigger it, so at this point I think that's probably most likely what it was. I did check a few junctions and stuff, but I'm pretty sure it is the inverter. And just a note, Tom's son was riding this, I think it was 2 weeks prior to that, and he was riding, I think it was a Nikon, it might have been an Amjet, which are electric Chinese bikes. And the exact same thing was happening. Once we got up to Poli Poli, his bike was just shutting off all over the place. And it's kind of annoying, especially if you're going up a really steep hill and have the engine shut off, because trying to get started on steep hills is, you're going to spin your tire and getting going is a pain in the ass. So a lot of times you have to turn around and go back down and then get a running start. So anyway, his bike's been doing the same thing, so I talked to Tom about it, and I think he's working on that right now with that reset. So anyway, other than that, the only other problem I had with it was that my two tensioning bolts on my back wheel became loose, and I don't know whether when I built the bike, I had to take the tire off, put the chain back on, reset everything. So when I put the tire back on, I may not have tightened them enough. So that may have been my fault, but being unsprung weight and on something that vibrates a lot, both of those had come loose. So the way I detected that was just listening to the chain. You could start hearing in the chain, it sounded like it was just slapping a lot, and every so often it sounded like it would ride up on one of the teeth and pop down. So I had to retension that, and that one's on me, so I can't fault the bike. And the other one is just one of those things you don't really know about until, because I mounted everything, so that would be on me too. And the way it was mounted, it just wasn't stiff enough so to stop that from happening. But other than that, let's see, what have I done? Oh, I got a new tire on the front, which I really like. It's a Chinese tire. I bought it from Tom's shop, and God, it's a steal. It's like $42 or something like that, and it's been phenomenal. I like it better than the Dunlap 606. I was very unimpressed with that. I was running Kenda up front, but they tended to slide out a little bit more, and I wasn't real happy with that. And I was running Schenko, which was a cheap tire, and then all of a sudden it went up to $120 or something. I'm just going, I ain't paying that for a Schenko tire. And so this one, right now, I am stoked. I mean, it seems to hold the road really well. I'm riding up in a lot of dirt and cinder and deep cinder, and it's holding the road real well. And the dirt, we've been riding in the rain, in the rain when the road's wet and stuff, and in the dirt it doesn't slide out at all on me, or it hasn't yet. I'm not saying it doesn't, because in the hard pan that we get into, once it gets damp, it's like ice. But yeah, I'm real happy with that tire. Anything else? I can't really think of anything. Other than one crash I had, I busted my windshield, but I just glued that back together. And yeah, I'll get another one. I got this from Cycle. What is it? National Cycle, I think. Shit, I'm sorry, I can't remember right now. But they treated me really well, because these are guaranteed for 3 years. And if you break it, they'll just send you a replacement. The last time I broke it, it was right like 2 weeks after the warranty was up, and I called the guy because I wasn't sure when it was, and he goes, "Oh no, well, that was 2 weeks ago." And he says, "You know what, let me talk to the boss and we'll see." And they sent me a new windshield. So they're amazing. I'm pretty sure it's National Cycle. I'll see if I can get more information on it. Anyway, the screen I have is for the clutches screen. And I think they're located in Chicago or somewhere in that area. But I was really impressed that they replaced it 2 weeks after their warranty come up, and they just go, "No, we'll replace it." So I bought windshields from them a number of times, over the years, and been more than happy. And I like riding with a windscreen. Because here in the islands we get passing showers quite often, so it's nice to have that deflection. And then anything else? I can't really think of anything else that I've had problems with. Nothing related, at least, to the conversion. The bike's been absolutely amazing. In fact, both problems happened within the last month or so. So once I discovered the bolts loose on the tire, and then when we were riding with Tom, one of his son's bikes, front brake caliper came loose. And so, and it's a fairly brand, new bike, so I realized, you know what, at least once a year you got to go over your bike and check all your nuts and bolts. So I went ahead and went back over this. Besides having fixed the back wheel, I just went ahead and checked everything. But it's kind of deceptive, because the bike is so smooth that you don't really worry about bolts vibrating loose, other than on your unsprung parts, like the front fork and the back wheel. So yeah, I'll just give you a quick look around the bike here. I mean, I know you guys have seen it a million times, but Anyway, let me see what this tire is called. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't really see well, but okay, the tire is a 990 21-inch tire, and it's shoot, let's see, what's it say here? In looks like Nyjon, Nyjon, but I'm not positive of that. You guys might be able to see it better than I can. I'm half blind as it is right now. Without my glasses on, I can't see much. I'll try and look at that. Let's see if I can get a better view on this side. Here we go. Sorry, it's NYLON. Anyway, there you go. I don't know why they call it a nylon, but just MS. Anyway, that's all I can get for you on that. It's the 9090 21. You can see my windscreen's a little busted up, but it's basically utilitarian, and I will get one at some point. And then the kit, like I was saying, I got from Electro and Company. You can go online and call them up. And yeah, this motor has got more power than I ever use. I only run it in eco mode because I'm more interested in range than I am in performance. Because in the dirt, I do not need, what is it, roughly 40 horsepower, 33 to 40 horsepower, something like that. And then this back tire is the Kenda, and I can't remember what Kenda tire it is. It's says 73P here. This is an 18-inch. Oh, it's a 450/18. 73P. I don't know if that's the model number or what, but I like that Kenda tire. It allows me to slide around a bit in the dirt and have a good time, and delivers power instantly, pretty much. Well, you know, providing the traction holds. But yeah, the throttle response in the dirt on this is just so amazing, because I get into some of that cinder with some really deep whoops in certain sections, and I just give it a little gas, and you know, I can correct myself on almost anything. I love this bike. It's the smoothest bike I've ever had, and I've owned BMWs, quite a few BMWs over the years, and I would never go back. My only fault that I do have on this bike is the range, and I got better range than most bikes this size. That you know, at low speed I can get a full 70 miles, and get into high speed. It really depends. I've taken it out, and the worst mileage I got was 60 miles, and I took it out to Kaupo on the backside of Haleakala, and let's see, I'm at 1,700 foot elevation, and I had to go up to 3,000 feet, and then from 3,000 down to sea level, and then back up And the day I did the ride, I got caught in a major rainstorm out there. And coming back, I thought I might have problems just because the elevation change, climbing, making the 3,000 foot climb, you know, tends to use a lot of electric. So I took my charger with me, and I managed to make it just back to a friend of mine's house in the pouring rain. So I stopped in his place. We hooked up the charger out under a tent out in the yard, and I charged it for about an hour or so, and had more than enough charge to make it back home, which was another, well, it was about 10 more miles to make it home. And made it kind of an adventure. Stopped and hung out with him for an hour and talked stories, so it was great. So anyway, yeah, that's about it with the bike. You know, what else to tell you other than it's amazing. I just love this bike. You know, there's only two bikes I would say were more fun in my life, and that was my first Honda 50. And I took that everywhere, out in the desert and everything. And then when I first moved to Hawaii, I got a Trail 90. And man, that bike was so much fun. We used to pack, myself and my friend Pete, we'd pack us and our surfboards on it, and we'd go surfing. And then we'd take it up in the cane fields and go forage for food, because there were all these old cane camps where they used to have houses, and they'd get since had gotten torn down, but there were a lot of fruit trees like papaya and breadfruit and bananas and different things. So we used to go gather food out in the fields. This was 50 years ago, so it was quite a different time when you could do that. But yeah, those are the only two bikes that I ever had way more fun on, just because, you know, the things we did and the time of life and stuff. But this bike, you know, in its current stage, like I said, the only drawback is the limited range, because when it was a gas bike, I took it on that trip back in 2021. I did almost 13,000 miles in 4.5 months over the western half of the United States. And yeah, it was great. The only problem was the gas. I had to deal with changing oil and that kind of stuff. And then I had a stator burn out. And you know, the electric is so much simpler to maintain. The only thing I really have to do is, you know, keep my chain oiled and keep my tires in good shape, and tighten up the nuts and bolts periodically. And other than that, this is an amazing bike. And if you don't ride massive miles all the time, you can get by with something like this, because I can go to the top of Haleakala and back here. I can go out to Kenai and back, which is halfway around Haleakala. Not halfway, anyway, I can go all the way to Hana and then charge out there and come back. And yeah, I'm anywhere within 70 miles. I can do 35, or I can do the full 70. I just have to recharge out there, but otherwise I can go 35 miles in any direction and then get home and charge when I get home. So on that note, I am going to bid you aloha, and hope you guys are having a lovely day, and we'll get back to you. I know I haven't been on motorcycle stuff that much. I've been riding but not filming. It's because you guys have seen most of the places I'm riding. So at some point I do hope to get that drone out and running, but it's a cheap drone, so don't expect the kind of footage where it follows the bike or anything. So we'll talk to you guys later. Aloha, and have a nice time. Aloha.